Imagine a world where tiny farmers, each smaller than a grain of rice, work tirelessly day and night, tending their crops, herding livestock, and managing their fields with precision that rivals even the greatest human civilizations. Welcome to the secret universe of ants, nature's miniature agricultural masters. In this fascinating journey, we'll uncover which ants farm, when they started doing it, and how their ancient farming systems have shaped entire ecosystems. So before we dig deep into the soil where this story begins, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss incredible stories from the natural world. Ant farming might sound like a quirky human hobby, but guess what? Ants have been farming for millions of years, long before the first human ever planted a seed. Their agricultural skills go way beyond just one type of activity. Some ants cultivate fungus underground, while others farm sap-sucking insects like aphids. Few even manage advanced fungi farms that have pest control, waste management, and irrigation systems. But who are these amazing ant farmers? The most famous of them all are the leafcutter ants from Central and South America, specifically the genera Ada and Acromiamex. These little guys are sometimes called the world's smallest ranchers because they don't just munch on leaves directly. Instead, they cut fresh leaves, carry them back to their nests in long green parades, and chew them into a pulp to feed a special fungus that serves as their only food source. This practice has been going on for at least 50 million years, making them some of the oldest known farmers on Earth. These leafcutter ants live in massive underground colonies that can house millions of individuals. Their tunnels and chambers stretch up to 30 meters wide and 8 meters deep. In these colonies, worker ants carefully tend to their fungal gardens, controlling humidity, temperature, and even weeding out harmful molds. Scientists have discovered that leafcutter ants use a natural antibiotic-producing bacterium on their bodies to suppress the growth of unwanted fungi. This discovery is so revolutionary that it has inspired research into new human medicines. But leafcutter ants aren't the only farmers out there. Enter the fungus-growing ants of the tribe Atene, a group of over 200 ant species found from South America up into North America. All of these ants cultivate fungus as their main food source. While leafcutters grow a specialized fungus called Leucoagaricus gondulaphorus, other Atene ants grow simpler fungal crops, often in smaller colonies. This shows that farming among ants evolved gradually, starting with basic fungal care before advancing to complex leaf processing and pest management. So when did this all start? Fossil evidence and genetic studies suggest that ant farming began at least 50 to 60 million years ago, shortly after the dinosaurs disappeared. Climate changes and new plant growth created opportunities for ants to exploit fungal food sources. Over time, this mutual relationship between ants and fungus became so specialized that neither could survive without the other. The ants feed and protect the fungus, and in return, the fungus feeds the ants. But ants don't just farm plants, they also farm animals. One of the most charming examples is the aphid farmers found among many ant species worldwide. These ants herd tiny sap-sucking insects called aphids, protecting them from predators like ladybugs, moving them to fresh plants when needed. In return, the aphids produce a sweet liquid called honeydew, which the ants milk by stroking the aphids with their antennae. This relationship is so strong that some aphid species have lost their ability to survive without their ant guardians. Some ants even go as far as building shelters for their aphids, carrying them underground during storms, or hiding them in curled leaves to keep them safe from danger. This shows that ant farming isn't just about food production. It is about livestock management on a miniature scale. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. These farming practices have huge ecological impacts. Leafcutter ants, for instance, are major ecosystem engineers in the Amazon rainforest. They recycle vast amounts of plant material, enrich the soil with nutrients from their fungal gardens, and influence which plants thrive in their territories. Meanwhile, aphid farming ants indirectly affect plant health by increasing aphid populations. Sometimes this can harm crops, but it also provides a key food source for other predators in the ecosystem. Here is something even more mind-blowing. Scientists believe that ant farming evolved completely independently from human farming, yet the principles are strikingly similar. Both involve cultivating a food source, protecting it from pests, managing waste, and ensuring a steady supply of resources. This suggests that farming isn't just a human invention. It's a natural strategy for survival that evolved in multiple species. This leads us to one of the most fascinating questions in biology. Did ants invent farming before we did? The answer is a clear yes. Humans have been farming for around 12,000 years, while ants have been doing it for tens of millions of years, refining their techniques over countless generations. What's more, ant farming is a collective effort. No single ant owns the farm. Every worker contributes to planting, feeding, and harvesting, operating like a perfectly coordinated machine without any central leader giving orders. They're guided purely by instinct and chemical signals. Now let's zoom in on how ants actually farm step by step. In leafcutter colonies, foragers leave the nest to find fresh vegetation. They cut leaves with their powerful jaws and carry pieces many times their own body weight back to the nest. Inside, smaller worker ants chew the leaves into mulch, mix it with their saliva, and deposit it in special fungus-growing chambers. Here, the fungus quickly colonizes the plant matter. Specialized gardener ants tend these fungal gardens, removing contaminants, pruning the fungus to encourage growth, and feeding it with a precise mix of plant materials. When the fungus produces nutrient-rich structures called gondolidia, the ants harvest them as their main food source. In aphid farming ants, the process is different but equally sophisticated. Scouts locate aphid colonies, and worker ants recruit the aphids by surrounding them and fending off predators. Then they milk them for honeydew throughout the day, sometimes even storing aphids in underground pens during winter, or moving them between plants like shepherds with their flocks. Some ants, like the yellow meadow ant, Lasius flavus, keep aphids almost entirely underground, creating a hidden world of livestock farming beneath our feet. But perhaps the most extraordinary example comes from certain phylidrous Nagasaw ants in Fiji, which actually plant seeds, fertilize them with their waste, and live inside the resulting plants, a true example of horticulture that's almost human-like. The question of when ants farm can be answered in two ways. Historically, they've been farming for tens of millions of years, but on a daily basis, ant farming happens constantly. Workers tend crops or livestock from sunrise to sunset, and in species where the colony never sleeps, farming is a 24/7 operation. This relentless work ethic means that ant farms are incredibly productive. Leafcutter colonies can harvest as much as 15% of all plant growth in their local area, and some aphid farming ants can maintain thousands of aphids at once. Scientists studying these behaviors have uncovered fascinating evolutionary history and found potential applications for humans. For instance, the natural antibiotics used by ants to protect their fungal crops could inspire new drugs to fight resistant bacteria. Their efficient division of labor might even inform robotics or AI systems designed to manage resources. What's truly remarkable is how ants adapt their farming strategies to changing environments. During droughts, aphid farmers may switch to species that survive on tougher plants, while fungus farmers adjust the mix of plant material to maintain the perfect moisture and nutrient balance. This proves that ant farming isn't rigid but highly flexible. Even in urban environments, ants continue farming using garden plants, street weeds, and even potted houseplants as their fields or pastures. It's a reminder that these tiny farmers are all around us, hidden in plain sight. So next time you see a trail of ants marching across the ground, remember, you might be watching the world's oldest farmers at work. It's practicing skills perfected over millions of years, shaping the ecosystems they inhabit, and offering us a humbling lesson in cooperation, sustainability, and innovation. Farming, it turns out, is not just a human story. It's an ancient tradition shared with some of Earth's smallest yet most extraordinary creatures. And that's the story of who and when ants farm. A tale of ancient agriculture, remarkable teamwork, and the tiny farmers who have been feeding their colony since long before humans learned to plant a seed. If you enjoyed exploring this hidden world with me, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into nature's wonders, and share this with a friend who thinks farming began with humans. Because now you know the truth. The truth.